New York Times best-selling author, columnist, playwright, and screenwriter Mitch Albom has sold over 41 million books, 2 of which were made into award-winning TV movies. Most known for Tuesdays with Morrie, the best-selling memoir of all time, Mitch has also written several other bestsellers, like his latest work of fiction, The Little Liar. In addition to writing, Mitch is also a humanitarian. After the devastating earthquake hit Haiti in 2010, Mitch has operated Have Faith Haiti, an orphanage in Port-au-Prince that provides a loving home where children can thrive.
All right, well, joining us now is Mitch Albom. Mitch, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Appreciate you being here. Finished The Little Liar yesterday. And what a unique approach to the Holocaust, to World War II. Why did you take this particular angle on the Holocaust?
Well, I wanted, there have been a lot of great books that have been set during the Holocaust. I didn't want to repeat them. I wanted to try to do something original. And I also felt that we live at a time where truth is under great attack. Everybody seems to be picking their own truth. So I wanted to do a book that showed how during that time, truth was really one of the biggest victims. So I created a story about a little boy who's never told a lie in his life. And when the Nazis come to his village in Greece, they find out about him and they decide to use him as a weapon. So all the other people are taken away to a ghetto, but he's kept aside, and they say to him, listen, we'll let you go back to your family. All you have to do is stand on these railroad tracks and tell the people who are coming to the trains that they're going to new jobs or new homes, and that everything will be good. And when you're done, you can go back to your family. And he does this for several weeks thinking he's telling the truth because he's never told a lie before. And only when he sees his family being put on the trains, along with this little girl that he loves, does he realize that he's been lying all this time and that these trains are going to the concentration camps. And he's not allowed to go. And the book follows what happens to him and the little girl that he loves who's sent away, and his family over the course of the next 40 years, and the effect of that one lie, the first lie he ever told in his life, on him and on all of them for all those years afterwards.
And what seems to come through is, I presume I'm correct about this, your personal sadness and desire to honor those who lost their lives and loved ones really shines through here, does it not?
Yeah, I grew up in a neighborhood where a lot of older Jewish people lived, and I used to notice that they wore long sleeves in the summertime. And I would ask my mother, how come they're wearing long sleeves? And she said, well, they have numbers tattooed on their arms and they don't want people to see. And I said, why? And she said, well, I'll tell you when you're older, Well, I got older and I found out why. And I feel it was my obligation. I've been blessed with some success as a writer, and I felt it was my obligation before I finished my writing career to at least write one story that continued to tell the horrors of what happened during that time. Because we live in a time right now, sadly, you may have seen this recent poll where 20% of Americans think the Holocaust was a myth, and another 30% can't say for sure if it was a myth or not. That's 50% of people who can't come out and say this actually took place. So I did a great amount of research and wanted to at least contribute one book that said, yes, not only did it take place, but it was horrific, and it changed the lives of many people involved.
And it was orchestrated by the Wolf, Hitler, who, as I recall, you didn't mention him by name.
I refused to.
Yeah, I was going to ask why his name is never mentioned. It's the Wolf, the Wolf.
Yeah, and I show how he was able to do what he did, not because he had bigger guns, but because he had bigger lies. And that's where the whole concept of truth, the book is narrated by the voice of truth, who talks about how truth has been ruined and destroyed by so many people over time, and particularly this guy and this group who lied to his people about, if we just get rid of the Jews, our lives will be better. If we just get rid of the Catholics, the homosexuals, the gypsies, our lives will be better. And people fell for that lie and did his bidding for a number of years.
Yeah. Loss is a significant part of this book. Could I read just a quick excerpt?
I'd be honored.
Put the glasses on.
Yeah.
Page 183 or so. You say, there are certain truths that are experienced universally. One of them is loss. The hollow in your heart as you stand by a grave, the lump in your throat as you stare at your destroyed home, loss. Yes, loss is universal. Everyone in their lifetime will know it. Tell us about a dear one you lost, Chica, and many of your readers know her through the book.
Well, the truth is, Andrew, that loss has kind of, permeated my writing life ever since Tuesdays with Morrie. When I lost my old college professor to ALS. And I've written about loss in Five People You Meet in Heaven and in other books. Chica was a little girl who was brought to our orphanage after her mother died. She survived the earthquake. She was born 3 days before the earthquake, survived it, lived in sugar leaves at night. She slept in a bed of sugar leaves for 6 months because her home was destroyed. She was brought to us when she was 3. She was the loudest, bossiest kid we had in our orphanage. And then at age 5, her face began to droop, and we discovered that she had a brain tumor, something called DIPG, which is always fatal, unfortunately. We brought her to America thinking, you know, we would be able to figure out a cure and she'd be able to go back, and unfortunately, there was no cure, but she stayed with us. They told us she wouldn't live for after 4 months. She'd be gone in 4 months, but she didn't die in 4 months or 8 months or 12 months. She lived 2 years, and during that time, we didn't find a cure, but we did find a family. And it was a blessed time. And I end that book by saying, you know, we didn't lose a child, we were given one. And she was glorious, and she taught me an awful lot about life.
And I love that you told her one day you were heading off to work, right?
Yeah.
And what was her response?
Well, at that point, I had to carry her because she couldn't walk anymore, and I carried her wherever she went. And we were playing coloring, and then I looked up. I said I had to go, and I said, Chica, I gotta go. And she said, no, Mr. Mitch, stay and color. I said, Chica, I have to work. She said, Mr. Mitch, I have to play. I said, well, it's not the same thing because this is my job. And she crossed her arms and made that pouty face, and she said, no, it isn't. Your job is carrying me. You know. And of course, I laughed. And then I realized, like, truer words are never going to be spoken to me because, of course, my job was to carry her. All of our jobs is to carry our children and carry, you know, those who need us. And if we're blessed, as I have been, then it's your job to carry the poor children of the world and the forgotten and the abandoned like we have at our orphanage. And I thought about that image of carrying her and how so much of my life I have been carrying my work, my money, my reputation, you know, celebrity, whatever. And then you have to drop all that because you have to pick up a 7-year-old to carry her around. And there's no comparison. That is an honorable carry. And what we carry defines us. And she taught me that. And
it's humbling, too. Now, you mentioned the orphanage and the beautiful children you've encountered. It's not like you and your wife had your eyes set on having an orphanage for 20, 30 years.
Who does? No, it was an accident. I went after the earthquake with a pastor who thought his orphanage had been destroyed, and I just went to help out, and it hadn't been destroyed, but it was overrun, and I started to kind of really feel for these kids, and they were so happy and joyous, even though they had nothing. I mean, everything was destroyed. And we began to come back and build showers, toilets, a school, a kitchen, and eventually the pastor, who was in his 80s, said, you know, I don't have any money to run this place. And I kind of blurted out, well, I could probably run it. How hard could it be? And he said, thank you, Lord, and he disappeared.
He's out.
He's gone, and I've been running it ever since with my wife, and we've been there every month for the last 14 years, and we'll continue to do so if the fates allow. It's very difficult right now for the rest of our lives.
And have continued to meet incredible kids. Natty, is that how I say her name?
Natty.
Natty.
Yeah, Natty. Natty was, I think, God's sort of reward in some way to us for the sadness that we endure with Chica. Natty came to us when she was 6 months old. That's her. She weighed 7 pounds total.
And you call her a reward?
Well, here's why. She came to us and only weighing 7 pounds. She was near death. She hadn't eaten anything but sugar water. We brought her to America like we brought Chica to America, thinking that, okay, we'll put her on this nutrition program and we'll just get her back up to snuff, and then she can get back to Haiti. But every month that went by, she became more and more kind of part of our lives. And when her first word was dada, you know, and next thing you know, it's 2 years already, and she's thriving now. And she is the joy of our lives. And there are moments, honestly, Andrew, where I kind of, sometimes I wake up and I go, something's wrong. She's going to be sick. She's going to be sick because Chica was sick. And then I realized, no, she's not. She's perfectly healthy, and she's going to live a long, long time. And I think that's God's way of showing us that, you know, for every sadness, there's a joy. And it just so happened to come in 2 little girls in our lives.
You and your wife are very busy, visiting the orphanage every month, et cetera. You still have time to write. And are there a lot of ideas in your mind now that you're selecting from?
Oh, yeah. I always say that I have way more ideas than I have years left on Earth. So I'll die with many books unwritten. But I just try to write books that bring hope, and some inspiration, and try to find tales that can do that. I've been doing that ever since Tuesdays with Maury, and I found out I have a great readership that enjoys that type of writing, and I enjoy it too.
Can I ask you a last question regarding your writing? I think the millions who love your books would like to know. I mean, when you're not out researching or in the archives or in a country, Greece, right, for Little Liar.
Yeah.
When you're home, I presume, writing, or in the office, what is it? The same time every day, early morning, late at night? Are you on a particular pace?
Yeah, I try to do it the same way every day. Get up first thing, brush my teeth, have a little something to drink, and go right to writing. I don't turn on any news. I don't listen to anything. I don't read anything. I want my brain to be totally clear. And I go for only about 2 or 3 hours. And then I'm out of gas. I could sit there all day, but nothing else is going to come. But I've learned that you do it every day. You treat it like a job. And always quit when it's going well. Don't quit when it's going bad, because when it's going bad and you say, I'll come back tomorrow, when you get up in the morning, you're like, I don't want to go back to that. That wasn't fun. So quit when it's going well. You look forward to getting up and doing it again.
I said last question, but if I may, do you ever go back and read something you thought was really superb and you're like, ooh, maybe not as strong as I thought, or you thought something was weak and you say, that ain't too bad?
I rarely think it's ever superb. I try not to go back and read it, because once it's in print, I never read it, because it's like I can't fix it. And if I can't fix it, I don't want to read it. So, yeah, I'm always kind of disappointed when I read it, thinking I could do better. But that's why you have your next book, so that you get a chance to do better.
And I want to let you all know, Mitch's book, The Little Liar, is well worth the read. It's fantastic, and it's a brand new approach on the Holocaust, World War II, and some real compelling characters, and quite a surprise at the end. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
Mitch, thanks for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
Really appreciate it. We'll be back after this. Stay with us.